Here we are, day 2. So far, so good. I'm more or less on time. I'm doing it a little bit earlier than I did yesterday because my husband, I forgot to make dinner yesterday for him. Well, I didn't forget to make dinner. We went out for dinner and I forgot to make something for his lunch for today. And I offered to take him lunch because I did, because I felt bad. So I'm going to have to leave at 11 when I did it yesterday, so I'm doing it a little early today so that I can make it over there and give him his lunch, and I feel less guilty. And for the record, I cook because I like cooking, not because he makes me cook. But anyway. So today I have chosen a topic of a lesson that I learned from my grandmother. And it's something that I heard when I was younger, but I didn't quite get until more recently. And it's a very strong lesson for me. So, topic is, if you want to do something, just do it. And how she told me this was, I remember I was sitting with her in her porch, and my grandmother has this really old house, but it has surrounded by trees and foliage and flowers and all sorts of plants. She loves growing plants. And so growing up, I always knew that she had all of these plants and she's always outside, she was watering them and taking care of them, and she's had them for a really long time. And so I remember asking her about them one time, or mentioning that they were very beautiful, and she said, well, how come you don't grow them? And I said, well, I don't really have time. At the time, I was doing college, and there was one semester that I was doing 16 hours and 2 jobs and running around everywhere while also doing extracurricular stuff at college, so I was really busy. And she said, no, Mija, if you want to do something, you just do it. You make time for it. Because when she was younger and she had all of her kids in the house, she has 7 kids. And so she was definitely busy running around raising all of these kids and making food and cleaning house and all of that. And she loves plants, but she didn't have them in the beginning because she said that she was too busy. And somebody told her, no, if you want to do something, you make time for it. You put aside time and you get it done. You figure it out, you schedule it, you do something, but you make time for the things that you want to do. And she told me this when I was, I don't know, like 21, 22, it really wasn't that long ago. And I just thought, yeah, okay, I guess you will find time, but she's not as busy as she used to be, so maybe it's a lot easier for her, and I just kind of let it go. Fast forward a couple of years, I've met my husband, and I'm running around, and I'm doing, I went from doing a receptionist job to a marketing job where I was running around everywhere, and temp jobs, and everything in between, and I was busy. I didn't have time to make dinner anymore, I didn't have time to take care of our cats, I didn't have time to do household chores, and it was eating away at me because I was busy and and my husband kept saying, you're not doing any of the stuff that you decompress, you're not reading books, you're not playing your video games, you're not watching videos, I feel like you're too stressed. And I was, because I wasn't making time for the things that I love. And a big part of me said, I don't have the right. And the reason for this is because as a young professional, I'm still trying to establish myself. I'm still trying to prove that I can do my job. I'm still trying to prove that I'm capable of doing really great things. And especially this recent layoff, it tends to hit me in the face and say, no, you're not doing good enough. You're not doing well enough. You're not. And so I've always put 110% of my effort into everything that I do, and I'm always trying to do a really good job. And if I have time to come home and clean the litter box or make dinner or sweep or dust or do laundry, I'm not putting enough effort into my work. So it finally took having this time off to just take care of stuff and start to schedule myself time. So if I'm working, I need to come home at a certain time, or I need to make time to do things. If it's worth it to you, you make time for it. And it's been a really difficult lesson to learn because part of the big problem that I've had with it as a young professional is I haven't earned the right to make time to go and enjoy myself. I feel bad asking for vacation days, and I remember when I was working as a receptionist, I felt really bad about asking for the day off. And it wasn't like I had paid vacation yet, it was just time off without pay, and we would schedule it, and I would try to do my absolute best to schedule it in a way that it was one day off at a time. It was one day off a month kind of thing, and it wasn't every month. I would schedule it in a way that I was taking the least amount of time off, and I was burning myself out because I needed more time at home. I needed more time to do things, and I would watch everybody else take like a week off for vacation because they were going on their family vacation. And my excuse for myself was always, well, you don't have kids to go spend time with. You don't have this to go spend time with. You haven't been established. You don't have money to go on a big vacation. You need to be working. And it's carried over a lot, but I've learned a lot more that it's not about earning it. It's about learning to use it responsibly. Don't ask for like a month off of work and expect everyone to be 100% cool with it. But if you need it, plan it well, make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do, and that you give people sufficient notice, because if you want to take a month off starting tomorrow and you're just telling them today, most likely it's not going to go over well. If you have a really cool boss, let me know, because I'd love to work for them. But being responsible about taking your time off and taking care of yourself, because it's not your boss's responsibility to take care of you. It's not their responsibility to tell you to take a day off. And a lot of the time they're not going to, because they would really rather have you at work, but they'd also really rather have you more productive. And so it's been difficult, and I'm not saying I've mastered it, because I still had trouble at my last job asking for time off, or asking to manage my time differently and put different hours in, and it was confusing and difficult, and especially kind of with everything that happened, it's gonna be hard, I guess, next time to do it. But I need to keep pushing forward to do it, because no, I don't have kids right now, but I have my husband and I need to spend time with him. No, I don't have kids right now, but I have my cats, and I would really like to hang out with them sometimes. And no, I don't have a whole lot of money to go on a big vacation, but sometimes you just need to stay home for a day and clean the house, or go outside, mow the lawn, trim the trees, like little things that are chores around the house, but also just kind of help you relax, help you feel more productive at home, and help you feel better about yourself. And that is worth a lot, because you end up going to work and you feel more refreshed, you feel happier to go and actually get work done, and you don't feel as strained or stressed, and you're sitting a little higher and you're feeling a little better, and you are more productive when you're happier. And sometimes it just means taking a day. Even if it's not always the most convenient for everyone, sometimes you just need to take a day. And that is a really difficult lesson. And looking back now at kind of where I was and what I was thinking, that was a lesson that maybe I wasn't ready for when I heard it, but I've grown to figure it out, and I'm glad I learned it. It's a really important one, and I'm really glad that she shared that with me, even if I wasn't ready to hear it, because I have plants now. I have them all along our windowsill, and I have them outside by the window, kind of in the shade, so they're not in direct sunlight, because Texas is brutal on plants. And I go outside, and I water them in the morning, and then I water the plants on the windowsill, and I adjust them, and I trim them as necessary, and I take care of them. And whenever my husband, because he's better at plants, tells me I need to give him fertilizer, plant food, I give him plant food. And I feed my cats, and I clean their litter box more regularly because I've made time to do it. I get to wash all the dishes and not let them pile up for a week until I run out of dishes and I have to wash dishes and stand over the sink for far too long because there's too many dishes. I have time to sit down and plan a meal that I'm proud of and have fun to actually make new recipes and try all of our new things that we got during the wedding. And thank you to everybody who got us an Instapot. I'm figuring it out and it's been fun. I have time to sit down and wash my makeup brushes and do my makeup again and in fun, cool colors because I have like way too many eyeshadow palettes because I think it's kind of cool. And clean the house and all of the things that we said we were going to do when we got married and all of the things that we said we were going to do whenever we found the time. I now have the time and I'm doing it. And while I'm still looking and sometimes it comes up that I feel really guilty for not working, I use that. And it's like, no, I might not be working, but being at home is still its own job. I'm doing the laundry, I'm cleaning the house. All of the things we've said we were going to do is actually happening now. And no, it's not easier. Especially I've been running this sprint for the longest time when it's really a marathon. Life is a very long marathon, and if you're sprinting the whole time, you're gonna tire yourself out. And I've been sprinting since I was in high school, from doing all of my upper division courses and all of the extracurriculars, the band and the theater and the everything that I could cram in for any time. And then I was also at church and I was doing all of the stuff at church as well. I was part of their youth group and then I led it and then I was a CCD teacher, and so I was doing way too much. But it felt like I needed to stay busy. And then when I got to college, I was doing a lot of college courses, and then I was working, and then I was trying to make sure I made the most of it. And I don't regret a lot of the stuff that I did, but at the same time, I kind of wish I'd taken it a little slower so that I could have enjoyed it a little more, didn't feel guilty about taking time off to go to Ireland or go to Florida and all of the amazing places I've had the opportunity to visit. And then when I finished college, it felt like my life stood still for a little bit because I wasn't used to not doing 100 things at the same time. And I didn't learn until more recently that you have to take the time to enjoy things and you have to make time. I say make time and we can't make time, but like put aside time. Say, okay, I'm only going to work the hours that I'm assigned, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to do an hour of something that I love, and then an hour of something that I need to do, and then I'm going to get ready for bed and I'm going to wind down, and that's going to be my day. Because life is too short to put off all of the things that you want to enjoy. You want to read that book? Read it. Maybe you can't sit down and burn through it all through the night like you used to because you need the rest. But doesn't mean you can't sit down for an hour and read your book. Doesn't mean you can't sit down for an hour and make a painting. You don't have to be a famous painter to sit down and do that if you enjoy it. Make the time to walk your cats. Make the time to sit down and have fun with your makeup, even if you're not going anywhere. Make the time to do the things that make you happy. Put it aside. Say that no, I need to be home and I need to do something for me. And don't feel bad about it. Enjoy it because you deserve it, not because you've earned it, not because you need to earn it, but because you're a human and you need to rest and you need to recharge. So that's our topic for today. Hopefully you've gotten a little bit more information and navigation from somebody my age because we're all doing life together and no experience required.